episode of Wrestling with Egos is brought to you by Sinus Infection. I feel like crap. This is literally the first day I've been able to breathe through this and actually see not double. I literally am looking at my screen and I see one of Isaac. So you know what? Progress. Welcome to Wrestling with Egos. I'm Patrick, joined as always by, well, normally I'm joined by my boys, but Brian is, let's put it this way. This episode of Wrestling with Egos is brought to you by Brian's on vacation. Well deserved. Him and the Lovebird off doing their thing. All I know is we got pictures of the spread they had at dinner tonight.
I hate you for that, just so you know. I'm putting that on blast. I hate that. That was some good food. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Screw you, hippie.
That's right.
Do what?
Yeah, we hate you right now. That's all I'm gonna say.
You're not our friend. Hey. We like to eat. Me and Isaac like to eat. Brian can attest to that because we've damn near eaten that poor man out of house and home at wrestling events in his house.
More than once.
More than once. By the way, this is also coming from a man sitting in camera too that's allergic to chocolate, but always brings like the single most gangster chocolate cake I've ever eaten in my life.
That's what I do.
I still to this day don't know how he does it.
Look, we gotta keep some things to myself because I can't let everything.
Hey, a pill spills his secrets. I know how it is.
Yeah, you gotta keep things. It's close to the chest. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. Well, here's something that's not close to the chest. Little bit of rage and anger on the part of a lot of wrestling fans tonight, because earlier today it was released that 13 WWE superstars have been released. More releases. A lot of names that, okay, cool. A couple of names, WTF. So let's go ahead and get them out of the way. Killian Dane, both of the Bollywood boys, Marina Shafir, Arturo Ruas, Kurt Stallion, both members of Everrise, Chase Parker and Matt Martell, Tony Nese, Arya Daivari, and August Gray. Those last three guys and the Bollywood boys primarily on 205 Live. Everrise, formerly the tag team known as 3.0, they were in NXT, had a pretty good little YouTube thing going as well, trying to get over kind of like Zack Ryder did.
I like them. I like them a lot. What they're doing.
Marina Shafir, the wife of Roderick Strong, who made his return to NXT this past week with the Diamond Mine. That was sick, by the way. Killian Dane, that one kind of was surprising. The husband of Nikki Cross and one big scary sumbitch on NXT.
Yeah.
And then the two that pissed me off. Fandango and Tyler freaking Breeze.
Dumbass move.
I gotta be honest real quick. I have been since before NXT arrival. I have been a Tyler Breeze mark. I have been a fan of that guy pretty much from the jump. Listen, this is when NXT was still just on Hulu, and the theme song was can't remember the damn name of the song from Coheed and Cambria. But that song, like I said, pre-arrival, pre-WWE Network. The guy never got. First off, both of them, just granted, they were never going to be main event players. We know this, but they had their spot. They had their nice little niche as a comedy act and as two damn good wrestlers. And
That pissed me off. That really
here's
pissed.
and I understand why Chief Revenue Officer of WWE Nick Khan decided to make these moves. Money. You still can't. You right now. I'm still not convinced that they're not slow prepping a sale. It's not going to happen in 2021, but you cannot convince me otherwise that it's not going to happen. Your thoughts, big man?
Okay, I agree with you 100%. It just looks like they're trying to make it look profitable
Mm-hmm.
during this time. The problem of it is, and I mentioned this to Brian last week, you can't look profitable right now because of the past year. This past year, we went through way too much stuff with the pandemic, and now you're going to cut everybody out and say, hey, look, we made a profit. No, you didn't. Everybody suffered this past year, and you're cutting all this great talent, and I'm not happy about it. But you know what? They had all these guys under their wing. They didn't know what to do with them. The writing has been horrible. You know, they don't know what to do with all these people, and they've got great talent, but it
Here's
is what it is.
for these guys, the writing hasn't been all that horrible because every last one of these guys is under the umbrella of NXT
Right.
on 205 Live, where they're competing for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, or they're on the main NXT roster. So let me ask you this: of all of these names, who do you think is the most likely to end up somewhere really quick after their 90-day no compete wraps up?
Tyler Breeze.
I would not be surprised to see both Breeze and Fandango show up in AEW, and here's why. Number one, sickest tag division in professional wrestling, bar none, and they have no problem having an embarrassment of riches in that division, and they're damn good at using every last one of them. And they've got with AEW Rampage coming up soon. I think toward the end of this year. I think is when they're launching it.
Right.
It's plenty of airtime to get tag teams out there. Another reason I think they would go to AEW is because Tyler Breeze has a very close personal friendship and business relationship with one Sean Spears. They run a wrestling school together, Flatbacks.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I would I would not be surprised at all. Definitely Breeze. Still wouldn't surprise me though if you had both of them show up.
I still say that Braun Strowman will show up on AEW sooner rather than later, even though he wasn't released this week. And I just saw a picture of him today. I still think they could do so much with that guy.
Yeah, I agree. I think they missed the boat on Strowman, and
That was stupid to let him go, honestly.
but it was a money issue, and I understand the business aspect of it. But creatively, yeah, it was stupid. But my biggest fear is with all of these cuts, AEW is going to start snatching talent up, much like WWE did, right when AEW was getting ready to launch. You know how they just signed everybody they could. My big fear is that AEW might go the route of TNA and just go, okay, you got released, come over. You got released, come over. You got released, come over. And now you're going to have a bunch of people that, okay, they were in WWE. What do you do? Like, I'm sorry. As much as I enjoyed Killian Dane does not need to be in AEW. Sorry to you Killian Dane fans, but no. Everrise does not need to be in AEW. Sorry. You know who I think would be a great fit in AEW? Tony Nese.
I agree with you there. I like him.
Tony Nese would be an amazing fit. in AEW. Just stylistically, his look. I mean, because let's be honest, every dude on the planet would kill for those abs. I mean, damn.
Looks like he was made out of stone.
You know, right?
Like, just you're like, damn.
And it's not like, steroided out made of stone. It's just like, okay, he's 205 pounds and he's just completely jacked.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? But stylistically, his look, everything about him screams AEW.
Right.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
100% agree.
And honestly and truly, if I'm looking at, guess where Tony Nese ends up? In the Pinnacle.
He's got that look for the Pinnacle.
He does. Yes, he does. He's
has
got that
look for the Pinnacle.
He has that look.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
He has that look. And that would be sick. But just kind of, Arya Davari, cool. He was a good talent, but never really. He was always somebody else's lackey in 205.
He never got his footing there.
No,
he
never.
Really
He
did, and
never did, and I hate saying this, but I feel it's true. He's the second most talented member of his family behind Sean.
Yeah.
Sean was a capable wrestler and a much, much, much better mic man. Good Lord. He was good on the mic, which is why he's a producer now. I can't remember if he's with Impact or if he's back with WWE, but I know he's producing backstage somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, nobody else really stands out. The Bollywood Boys, I didn't get them when they were in the Cruiserweight Classic. Everrise, I never got. I was like, okay, sorry, don't get it. Killian Dane, the worst thing that ever happened to him was Sanity dying a painful death.
Yeah, and Eric Young went over there.
So cool. But, hey, main roster. Kiss of death, man. Which brings us to our next topic. It's a brand new segment here on Wrestling with Egos that we like to call, What's the Point? Each one of us will have a couple of minutes to pontificate upon you a thing going on in wrestling today that, to quote Johnny Cochran in South Park, that does not make sense. Talking about the Chewbacca defense. This is Chewbacca. Why am I talking about Chewbacca? It does not make sense. You need to watch that episode if you haven't watched it, boys and girls. I believe that one's called Chef Aid from season 2, when South Park was actually still really good. So Isaac, you first. Tell me, my good friend, what does not make sense?
For me, of everything that's going on Monday Night Raw, I'm not following. I'm not really feeling it. I don't see the end game. There's a lot that I'm like, nah, I'm not feeling this, not liking it. I do like what they're doing with the women's division and Charlotte and everybody else, but everything else, not feeling it. You're putting, what's the point of not giving Drew McIntyre one more shot because he's the only person that's capable of taking off the belt off of Bobby Lashley and making him look,
Kofi?
I love Kofi, but I mean, come on, Kofi can do it, but
yeah. I mean, you've had guys that were size and smaller beat guys that were Lashley size skill set and bigger, i.e. Rollins beating Lesnar twice. Clean, I rest my case. So, no, they can totally do that. At the same time, Kofi has a finisher that he can catch you out of nowhere.
True.
He can trouble in paradise out of nowhere, and that's a wrap, boys and girls. So I will dispute you on that part. Everything else, yeah. Here's my point. Why in the bluest of blue hells did we have to have a Hell in the Cell pay-per-view? Why? Because the only match I gave a flying fart about seeing inside Hell in the Cell, you gave it to me for free last Friday night. Roman and Ray. Nothing else on that pay-per-view. Sorry, I'm about to cuss. Meant shit. Nothing. The only thing they managed to do by giving us Roman and Ray on Friday night in Hell in the Cell was they managed to piss off their partners at the USA Network, who were like, wait a minute, why does Fox get a Hell in the Cell match on Bri-TV and we don't? So what do? As a makeup, we give them Bobby Lashley inside Hell in the Cell with Xavier Woods.
Wah, wah, wah.
Exactly. Now, do not get me wrong. I love Xavier Woods. I love everything about the New Day. I have 2 different up, down, down T-shirts. My daughters enjoy watching the up, down, down guys play Uno every week. We watch it every week to the point where when we're playing it, we work in those catchphrases. It drives my dear wife nuts. But you know what? We do it because it's fun. I love Woods. I would love Woods to get a singles title match. But Woods inside Hell in the Cell with Bobby Lashley? What? Why? Better not what? Why? That's a better question. So again, what's the point? You know, it's kind of like that Saturday Night Live skit that Kenan Thompson did. That what's up with that?
What's up with that?
Yeah.
What's up with that? Yeah, of course I know.
That one. Literally, when I was thinking about this segment earlier this week, I was like, that theme song. Ooh wee. What's up? What's up with? That was going through my head. I was like, oh God. And I literally see Paul Rudd in that red jumpsuit just dancing around like an idiot.
That was Jason Sudeikis.
It was Sudeikis. I thought for some reason
That
it was
was
Paul.
Sudeikis. We'll look. We make mistakes, but we will own it. We'll look it up and we'll let you know next week. How about that?
All right, cool. Yeah. You know what? I'm probably wrong, but you know what? You get the point. Unlike the things that we just talked about, you get the point that we're trying to make. Why? Because we actually make points here on Wrestling with Egos, whereas on Raw, you take someone that's a talented wrestler like Piper Niven and you name her Dewdrop.
But then you give her. But then.
Go ahead.
But then you give her to who? Eva Marie.
Moving right along, we got a hell of a fun topic for you guys for the remainder of the show. Isaac and I are looking very forward to this one. We've talked about doing this for several weeks, and with the B-Man on vacation, we thought, you know what? Why not? We got another really hella good topic coming for you. Probably with the way scheduling's gonna look, probably the end of July, because by the time that B gets back from vacation, I'm going.
I'm going on vacation sometime soon. Don't know when, but I'm insignificant. Let's go.
No, you're not. You're part of the show. You part of the show. You make this a 3-man group because RJ is missing in action. We love you, RJ. Please come home. Anyway, so raise your hand out there in Wrestling with Egos land if you have, past or present, owned a wrestling T-shirt. Of course, we have. We've worn them on the show. I proudly wear my Saturday Night's Main Event shirt. That took me a hell of a lot long. That was a hell of a find, by the way. I love that shirt.
That's good find.
Huh?
That is a good find.
Yeah, I love that shirt. I'll tell you where to get it if you after the show if you want one. Because I found it. It's actually it's an Ohio-based company.
Nice.
Yeah, they're pretty slick. So we decided, let's take a look at the most iconic wrestling T-shirts of all time. We're not gonna like Mount Rushmore them. We're just gonna letter grade them. I mean, Isaac's a teacher. We can still get away with this. You know, Brian's not the only member of academia. I probably mispronounced that, but you know what? Whatever. I don't care. I'm tired. This episode of Wrestling with Eagles is also brought to you by Flonase. Yeah. I'm going to need to take some as soon as the show's over. Anyway, moving right along. So what we're going to do, before the show started, Isaac and I made a short list of the shirts that we absolutely want to break down, and we're going to letter grade them for you in terms of not only how cool they were, but how important they were to wrestling. If you know me, you can probably already guess that there's going to be only one A+. And if you've been paying attention to the show, you probably know where I'm going and know it's not that. That eliminates 2 of them. Exactly. So let's go in chronological order just to kind of keep things consistent. So Isaac, what's the first one on the list?
First one on the list is Hulkamania.
Yeah. Now you could go with either now we're talking about the WWE shirts, either with the one that Hulkamania that Isaac's worn in the past, or the one that says Hulk Rules. Because those both happened around the same time. Dude, to me, that's an A. For one, and it's an A and not an A+. For one simple reason. It's the shirt that started it all. That was the very first cool wrestling shirt. Nobody else had one that you wanted to wear out in public until then.
100% agree. 100%. As you know, I've got one.
Oh, so no, I would give this one the A+, but I'm saving that A+ for like what I think is the greatest shirt ever. But if I were going to Mount Rushmore this would be on there because, much like I've said about in terms of factions, you don't get the NWO, DX, and the Bullet Club without the Horsemen. You don't get the rest of these shirts without that, brother. Despite how we feel about Hulk Hogan now, we can separate the man from the shirt.
Agree.
So, next.
The next topic is Austin 3:16.
And this is the point of the show where I just completely just give you the farm. This is my A+. To me, there is no greater shirt in the history of wrestling. What Hogan's shirt meant to wrestling, like, okay, Hogan's shirt became the first major piece of merchandise to go mainstream in wrestling. Much like Austin himself took the business into 7 different stratospheres, so did his t-shirt. By the way, we're also talking about this, and this week being the 25th anniversary of the King of the Ring, where the Austin 316 speech was born. Thank you for bringing that to our attention earlier this week, Isaac. So, to me, this is an A+. Isaac.
I can't disagree, because this took us into the Attitude Era. This brought us to where we are today, and we still idolize him as what he is.
Right. Also, in terms of the shirt itself, Hogan's shirt meant that you could make money off merchandise. Austin's shirt meant that you could make a lot of money off of merchandise. Okay, Scott Hall recently on Eric Bischoff's 83 Weeks podcast, he was on there to talk, as you know, currently they're building up towards Bash at the Beach, and they're going to watch that in real time to coincide with the 25th anniversary of that. How sad is that we're at the 25th anniversary of Austin 316 and the NWO? Good God, we're old. So, I know, right? I don't need to be drinking Mountain Dew. I need to be drinking a beer. Moving right along.
You need to be drinking a case. If that's the case, we're that damn old.
So anyway, Scott Hall said that he is still making 6 figures off of the NWO shirt.
I'm not surprised by that. I'm really not.
I'm not either. I still say, though, the 316 shirt is the one that made it possible to make 6 figures 25 years removed from the shirt.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, chronologically, that happened before. Let's just go ahead and get to it. NWO. I have to say, the coolest shirt. No doubt in my mind, the coolest shirt of them all.
I completely agree.
This is an A. This is on my Mount Rushmore. That's 3 of them, by the way. But to me, this one was just, it was the cool factor. You know, the Austin 316 shirt was the launching pad. This one was just cool. The NWO was cool. Everything about them, with the exception of like Michael Wall Street and Vincent and Bryan Adams and Horace Hogan,
Norton.
They were cool.
The coolest thing was the fact that they had Dennis Rodman show up during the NBA Finals, which I'm like, dude, if he twists an ankle, he's screwed. But he showed up. Like, are you serious? But hey.
Yeah. But the shirt itself was just, it was James Dean cool. To really make an old reference, kids. But it was just everything about it, especially in that day and age as a wrestling fan, it was just cool. It was just, too sweet. I'm not going to go high pitch on you. No, I'm not going to do that to you. Besides, as I am, I don't think it's happening.
Not happening today.
Next.
I was loving all the NWO red shirts.
Yeah.
I love them. Big Wolfpack, just everything. It was just.
I liked the Wolfpack more than I liked NWO Hollywood, but I thought the NWO Hollywood shirt was cooler.
Me personally, it was more of a hip hop reference for everything with the NWO red, because that's more me.
Right. Oh, I get that.
Not with the silver, the Black and white did, but that was.
I get that, and that makes perfect sense. I'm just going on my personal preference. I thought the black and white shirt just looked cooler. That's just me, though. Next shirt.
Okay. We can talk about it. I can say it, but you probably already know the next one on the list is going to be D.
Okay. And the shirt that we're talking about, the DX logo on the front, and then the infamous catchphrase. We got two words. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, that.
Right.
Thank you for not saying it. Yeah, I swear on the show occasionally, but you know what? I don't really want to go there. There's a couple lines. There are some lines I don't cross as a producer on this show, and that's one of them. I'm a potty mouth, but I have ethics and morals. Um, so
My mouth. We're not gonna go into right now.
right. Well, I got friends from church that watch this, so I got to be somewhat good. Hi guys, see you Sunday. Um, it was cool, but literally compared to everything else on this list and other things that are going to be on this list, not even close. It's a B plus to me. It's not an A. It's a B plus compared to everything else.
I agree. I'll give it a B. I'll give it a solid B. I'm not gonna give it a B plus.
Okay.
I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B. Okay. Next shirt.
See, the DDP shirt. Now we're talking about the diamond cutter hands, and you can see his face in between, in there. You can see that one. I'm not gonna pull up all these graphics because I'm not gonna have that time to edit it all together like that this week. I'm gonna be lazy. Sorry, I'm still recovering from this crap. Get off me. Um, but that shirt was cool, and it was one of the cooler non-WCW shirts. And let's be honest, one of the cooler non-NWO WCW shirts. And let's be honest, there weren't that many of them. We're literally going to list the two big ones on this show, and the other one is probably next, if I'm not mistaken. Um, this one is a B for me because it was cool. It was not as cool as the X shirt, but as someone that grew up in WCW country, you were wearing one of three shirts: the NWO one, this one, or the one we're about to talk about as soon as Isaac makes his comments about feeling the bang.
Love the shirt. Thought it was awesome. Great for the time. Um, love the wrestler, and I'll give it a B. I'll give it a solid B.
So you're going to put DX and DDP on the same level.
Okay. Then I'll give it a B minus on that.
Okay. So
DX is a B, as a solid B.
okay. So B
But,
minus, B
right.
minus. Okay. Cool. The next one is, and I'll go ahead and throw this one out because I'm a mark. It's Sting. We are talking about the original black and white Scorpion T-shirt. Black shirt, just the Scorpion. No, not that one. This one, the one straight up and down, not the big gigantic one that went from shoulder to shoulder that looked like one of those futuristic jerseys the Major League Baseball tried to try in the late '90s that were stupid.
Yeah, they
I,
did look stupid as
I,
well. They were dumb.
I will drive to Shaker Heights and slap it out of you. I know he don't live in Ridgefield, so I know to be smart. I will drive to Shaker Heights right now if you.
Come find me. Come on.
Those things were ugly. No. I'm sorry. Those things were ugly. Anyway, moving right along, and so was that Sting shirt, but the classic Crow Sting, White Scorpion, the black shirt. That looked cool. But here's the thing, and this is why I give it a B plus and not an A. It didn't look cool on anybody except Steve Borden. Because when Sting wore it, he had the trench coat. And the trench coat fell and it just framed that Scorpion perfectly. But you put it on any schlub like me or Isaac or Brian or anybody else, and it was just a t-shirt. Just be honest.
I beg to differ because I make everything look good. So that's
okay.
y'all. Me.
But okay, but here's the thing, dude. You're cool, but you're not Sting cool.
I'm right below Sting cool.
Sucker, please.
Wait, sucker, yeah.
Sucker, please.
I'm talking about.
But as much as I love Sting, and as much as I think that's one of the greatest story arcs in wrestling history, again, my opinion, it only looked cool on him. It was cool, but it only looked cool on him with the trench coat because it worked. Your thoughts?
Loved the shirt, loved the era, loved everything about it, especially the trench coat, especially when he came from the ceiling. I give it an A minus.
Okay.
I give it an A minus because I loved it for what it was at that time.
I did too. I just go down to a B plus because I owned one. It didn't look cool on me.
Again,
it did not look cool on me. Then again, at the time I was 115 pounds soaking wet.
I'm not gonna say how much I weighed at that time. We're not gonna go there right now. Just not.
We only discuss weight if you're skinny. If you're skinny and it's embarrassing and you're already out of high school. Anyway, next.
Okay, the next T-shirt that we're going to talk about is basically going to be. We're going to talk about this one. It's a little different. We're going to talk about Bullet Club.
Okay. Now, when we do this, we got to be honest. We're prefacing this with the OG, not the OG, but the classic black and white Bullet Club shirt that we all know and love. That Bullet Club shirt. There's so many different variations of it because every member of Bullet Club has gotten their own shirt, but the one with the Bullet Club logo, that was just that, nothing else. To me, it's an A. This is the other shirt I would put on the Mount Rushmore. It's Hogan, it's Austin 316, it's the NWO, and it's this. Because to me, those are the four biggest needle movers in terms of wrestling t-shirts. Because those four shirts transcended the business.
I agree with you. I agree.
So to me, this gets lumped in there with the Hogan shirt and the as A's because I'm not giving anything besides Austin 316 an A plus. That's my hill that I'm going to die on. If you disagree with me, hit me up on Twitter at Rant Mode On. I'd love to debate you on this one. Put a comment down there below the YouTube page. Let's talk about this if you disagree.
I agree. I have to say, I'll give it an A minus. Yeah, it would be on my Mount Rushmore. It would be. Again, Austin 316, still the top one. It's still on the Mount Rushmore because I'm not going to label the others. But yeah, it's on the Mount Rushmore. I will give it that.
Next shirt.
Next shirt.
Or do we have any more other than just kind of some honorable mentions that we're gonna discuss?
The only other one that I really want to bring up is the Shield.
See, here's my thing about. I know I'm
Or
gonna.
put an honorable mention.
Yeah, I'm gonna lump in some other people that we discussed in pre-show along with this because I can make the point about all of them at the same time. The Shield, Eddie Guerrero, The Undertaker, Chris Jericho, The Rock, all of them, and the Four Horsemen,
And
all.
see,
And yeah, thank you, and John Cena. All of them had very, very, very. You know what? I'll throw in one more. The New Day. All of them. Very,
I totally forgot about them.
very successful in moving merch. Very successful in moving shirts. Here's the problem. None of them had one that stood out. John Cena has had a million t-shirts. He literally, over a 10-year span, changed t-shirts twice a year. I'm not kidding. They always had something fresh for him. And there's nothing wrong with that. But because of that, there was never anything that truly stood out. The Rock never had a shirt that really stood out. He also loses points because, as you brought up in the pre-show meeting, he shows up to save Mick Foley's ass wearing a shirt that reads, and I quote on the front, "How's your lips?" What the hell?
Yeah.
Exactly.
How you gonna make a shirt and actually promote the shirt right then and there? It doesn't work like that.
Right. Yeah, you got to get the catchphrase out before you do the shirt. You can't do this backwards. You know, the shirt wasn't out before Austin told Jake that Austin 316 said, "I just kicked your ass." No, it don't work that way, bro. But The Rock never had one that stood out. The Shield, as cool as they were, as cool as their shirts were, as cool as some of their merch was, like that mask. Good Lord, that was sick. But none of their shirts ever truly stood out. The same can be said about the Horseman. The same can be said about Jericho. The same can be said about Finn Balor. As great as some of his shirts were, I think currently the Prince shirt that he's using with the Balor B and the red X behind it, I think that's probably his best one, but I don't really think he's had one that truly stands out. Nakamura hasn't had one that stood out. Roman's never had one that stood out. Hell, to be honest, of all the guys from the Shield, the only one that ever had a decent shirt was the one that literally said Seth freaking Rollins on it. Here's the only thing I hate about wrestling t-shirts now is that the biggest needle movers outside of like the Bullet Club and some of these retro shirts, the biggest needle mover isn't a person, it's a brand. It's either the AEW shirt or it's the NXT shirt.
I agree.
Not a person, not the Kenny Omega shirt that AEW sells, not the Super Elite shirt, not Eddie Kingston or Moxley or Pac or Cody or anyone on WWE, not Ricochet, not AJ, not Lashley, nobody. The biggest needle movers are either the AEW logo shirt or the NXT logo shirt because those are the two brands that generate the best fan base. Best two fan bases in all of wrestling right now are AEW fans and NXT fans. And then that third group of fans that likes both. Hi, how you doing? Yes, boys and girls, you can watch both and enjoy both and not be stupid. This is a public announcement from your friends here at Wrestling with Egos, which reminds you, if you do not agree with what I just said, you are wrong.
End the story. Cha-ching. Check it.
But yeah, that's my whole thing. Outside of these shirts that we discussed, nobody ever had one that stood out. And they could have done so much more with Cena. They could have done so much more with Roman. And here's somebody that we have not discussed. Never had a shirt worth a damn. But oh my God, what WCW could have done with Goldberg.
Yeah.
Goldberg never had a good shirt. They never had a good shirt. But oh my God, dude, literally, I'll create it for you right now, and it's so easy. What did the NWO shirt look like? Just
it was,
nothing.
The NWO shirt had a N, big W, O, and boxed letters.
Okay.
And the periods in between.
Right. All you had to do was take that tattoo and just put it on the front in just white, not his name across it like they did, and on the back, 2 simple words. Who's next? And just do it in black and white. Just make it look metal. But because it was Goldberg, they had to, as I like to say, when to put a southern spin on this, when they gussy it up for the sake of gussing it up, when they dress it up just to dress it up, to me, they slut it up.
They dropped the ball a million times over.
Right, but not just dropping the ball. You made it pretty to the point where it wasn't pretty anymore and it just kind of looked trashy. That's what I mean by slutting it up.
I agree.
And I'm not disparaging anyone by that. I'm just using the,
broad spectrum word.
The broad spectrum, overly dressing it up. If you're offended by what I said, I deeply apologize. I did not mean it in any way like that. I'm probably going to regret saying it now that I've said it, and I'll retract it right now. My bad. Poor choice of words. My wife will probably kick my ass when she sees this, and you know what? I'll deserve it. And I'll report back to you guys next week just how bad my ass kicking was. Because trust me, nurse rant mode on will drop the hammer. She's not afraid to. That is a very tough lady. She's a hospice nurse. She has to be. But to me, if they would have just kept a Goldberg shirt, black and white, a tattoo right here, and on the back, who's next? Oh. License to print money, because Goldberg was as hot as it was.
He was white hot at the time.
You could have made a killing off that shirt, because what you could have done was you could have made that shirt look like the NWO shirt, and since Goldberg was hunting the NWO, I surrender, Cobra. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on this. Before we get out of here, I got a question for you. I'm hearing a couple of rumors, and
wait before we get into that. We also got to mention couple other things, honorable mentions. Who they dropped the ball on, and whose merchandise they could have gone through the roof. But we mentioned that. There was a couple names I want to throw out there. One person, one person being Val Venus, because of the angle that he had. We all know what it is, and if you don't know, go look it up. I ain't gonna go into it. We know what it was. They could have taken that to 1,000 degrees more.
They could have crossed about 15 more lines than they already did and still been fine with it because of the era in which they were in. They could have crossed so many lines. I mean, hell, we're already literally we're talking about the greatest T-shirt of all time being blasphemous.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already crossed the line of blasphemy in terms of one of these shirts. I mean, come on, and there's also a little bit of risqueness in the DX shirt. Okay, we can cross a few more lines. We sure as hell didn't have a problem with the Attitude Era, did we, boys and girls?
No, we did not.
Which is why we have the other person that they could have done so much more with.
Now the other person that we're going to discuss, you guys know it. You already know it is. It is the Godfather, the whole train. I'm sorry, whoever. I sorry to people at church watching this, but there's no other way to say it. We all know they could have gone way over the edge, 15,000 with that, just with that alone. Godfather, the hose, the whole train, everything could have done so much more, but they didn't.
Godfather never had a good shirt. Val Venus never had a good shirt. You know, here's what kills me about wrestling merch sometimes. Dude, it can take years, sometimes decades, for a wrestler to have a cool shirt. Look how long it took Edge to have a cool one.
Yeah.
My God, it took Edge forever to have a cool one. Who else was it that took forever to get a cool T-shirt? There was somebody else that I was thinking about. Took Edge forever. God, who was the other one? Oh, Taker. Taker had to go American Badass before he got a really cool shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Angle shirts were always
They were
cool,
pretty good.
but nothing ever really stood out.
They were good, but not great.
Right.
We'll leave it at that. That was good, but not great.
Right. And the sad thing is, there for every great T-shirt, there's some god awful ones. What's the worst? Just real quick, the worst, like the first terrible one that comes to your mind. I've already got mine, and it's WCW.
Oh God. I can't even think of I can't think of one right now. It'll come to me later.
You ready?
Go.
Jeff Jarrett's slap nuts.
Oh God, yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh God.
It was god awful. I remember who the person was that took WWE forever to give him a good shirt.
Go ahead.
Punk.
Yes.
Punk did not get a good T-shirt until Money in the Bank in Chicago when the bitch was leaving the company.
You left?
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
left. But I always thought that was funny. I'm like, okay, you're gonna give the guy a really kick-ass T-shirt on his last night with the company. You freaking idiots. Granted, yes, he's in his hometown of Chicago. Very cool. But that really, you're finally gonna give him a shirt that doesn't suck ass?
Yeah, and then pull the actual, the screw job and actually let him leave. Come on now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, forget the angle. I'm just talking about, okay, this is supposed to be his last night in WWE. His contract expires at midnight. He might win the title, but we're gonna give him a brand new shirt on his last night. Like, I'm sorry. Look, to be a wrestling fan, you have to have a suspension of disbelief. It's like being a fan of Marvel movies or sci-fi, Star Wars, whatever. You have to suspend your disbelief in order to be able to, you have to check reality at the door when you're getting involved in anything like that, just like in wrestling. That night is one of those nights where I was like, okay, no. Reality is setting in right here on this particular thing. No.
Right.
Kind of one of those deals. Real quick on a couple of rumors. Yay or nay on both of these? We won't because music's playing. We're gonna have to get out of here. Rumor has it it's gonna be at SummerSlam in Vegas. It's gonna be Roman defending against John Cena. Yay or nay?
Yay.
I agree because it sets up for Mania and The Rock.
Right.
And honestly and truly, if that's not WWE's end game right now, I don't know what we're doing.
What is right?
And truth be told, if our end game isn't Roman beating The Rock, I don't know what our end game is. I don't know. Tune in the week after WrestleMania for Patrick's next segment of What's the Point? Exactly. Finally, as I cough up a lung, rumor has it that when the WWE goes back to the draft shortly after SummerSlam, rumor has it that the biggest move will be that of Big E going back over to Raw, and there's a potential that he could be bringing a little briefcase,
A little something.
Better match with him. Yay or nay?
Let me think about this. Yay.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Big E, in my opinion, is on the short list of most deserving guys to never win the WWE title. By the way, in my opinion, there's only 3 names on there: E, Cesaro, Nakamura.
I agree with that.
Drew used to be on that list, but thanks, Drew. Hell of a run the last year, by the way, champ. But yeah, seriously, I would love to see E. Okay, I would love to see E win a title, but I would love to see E win the WWE title, not the Universal title, the WWE title. Because I'm sorry, to me, that one still means more.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that. And I also want to say I think he deserves it for the work that he's put in for the past couple years. And it's about damn time.
Couple of years.
I'm just
5, 6. How long? All 3 of those guys deserve massive, massive kudos for everything they've done since the launch of the New Day. They're first ballot Hall of Famers in my book, and as we discussed not too long ago on a GOAT episode, they are the greatest 3-man faction of all time.
I was not here for that. But I will debate them the next time.
There's no debate. We've already set that one in stone. Greatest 3-man faction of all time. Better than the Shield, better than the Freebirds. Sorry.
Better than the Freebirds?
Better than the Freebirds.
I wish I was here for that debate.
Nope. Better than the Freebirds. Look, I love the Freebirds, but you know what? Michael Hayes was never going to win a world title. Terry Gordy was never going to win the world title. You got two guys in New Day. One already did, but another one that's a world title contender.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Okay, I'm there with you.
That being said, I'm being told by the producer that's fake pointing at because there's nobody on the other side of the camera that hey, Red lights flashing. Hey, like the Dave Chappelle episode. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. So we're gonna get out of here. So for the disembodied voice of Reginald Johnson Eisenman, Reginald Johnson Eisenman Esquire, and for the vacationing Brian Alexander Aloysius Mustafa Krigo. I was waiting for a reaction on that one. Brian Alexander Aloysius Mustafa Krigo. I like that. So let it be written, so let it be done. Quote the rant mode nevermore. So from Big Isaac, I'm Patrick. This has been Wrestling with Egos. We'll see you next week because this is why we love wrestling, boys and girls.
Yep. See you guys later. Thank you for showing up. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out. A-Town.